Hey guys, there is the first lesson from my new class on how to paint beautiful wintry Christmas cards with watercolor. This lesson is self-contained, so enjoy it here and paint a lovely Christmas card with me. And of course, if you like it, join the full class on Skillshare. 3 more charming winter card ideas are waiting for you. The link is in the description. Let's get started! For this class, I'll be painting on these charming pre-made watercolor postcards. They are such a joy to work with. The back side has printed lines for writing, while the front side is clean and ready for your artwork. And look at these rounded corners. It's such a small detail, but it adds a lovely polished touch. Of course, if you don't have pre-made postcards, that's perfectly fine. You can simply cut your watercolor paper to a size that works for you. To begin with, let me show you the colors I'll be using for all illustration in this class. Feel free to use whatever colors you have on your palette. For this lesson, that's absolutely okay. Here is my selection: dark green, olive green, cadmium lemon, cadmium red, cadmium orange, and ultramarine blue. If you've watched my other classes, you know I use these colors very often. Alright, let's dive in. When starting a small illustration like this, it's tempting to use a very small brush. But here is a tip. Whenever possible, try using a bigger brush. It allows the paint to spread more freely, making your artwork feel loose and professional. Now I'm picking up olive green and mixing it with cadmium lemon to make it even warmer. Gently I start painting the Christmas tree. My brush is loaded with water, so the paint creates these little drops, and that's exactly what I need. Next, I tilt the paper slightly to let the paint flow downward. Then I pick up a more dark green and continue shaping the tree. The warm green blends beautifully into the darker tone. The wash isn't solid. I'm intentionally leaving white gaps. These could represent snow resting on the branches or light peeking through the foliage. It makes the tree look airy and natural. As I work my way down, I add a touch of ultramarine to the green to create a cooler shade. For the base of the tree, I leave it uneven to suggest snow at the bottom. It's important to keep the paper at an angle so the paint can flow naturally, creating a smooth gradient from warm to cool tones. Now I'll take a small brush and mix cadmium orange and cadmium lemon to achieve a warm yellowish tone. This mix is light and not too dense. I gently paint a tiny glowing star at the top of the tree. Next, I'll prepare a highly diluted mix of cadmium red. You'll need plenty of water for this. Then I'm painting the background. Make sure the paint is very transparent, so it looks like the soft hue of the sunset sky. I tilt the paper slightly to let the paint flow downward, creating a smooth and natural gradient. Carefully I'm painting around the star, leaving the area around it white to create a glowing effect. After that, I rinse the pigment from my brush and gently fade the wash into transparency. Be sure not to touch the tree, leaving a small white area around it. This will enhance the airy, snowy effect. To finish this step, I dry my brush and use it to absorb any excess water. And there we have it. The background is ready. Now I'll need to wait a little while for it to dry. Once the paint has dried, I'll mix a brown tone. To do this, I combine the red on my palette with the dark green. With bold, confident strokes, I'm painting the trees behind the Christmas tree. They shouldn't be too dark. Remember, they are part of the background. Don't worry about making them look perfect. Trees come in all sorts of whimsical shapes, so let your brush flow naturally. Notice that all the trees are positioned higher on the paper than the Christmas tree. This creates the perspective that they are further back, while the Christmas tree is in the foreground. Some trees are slightly lighter than others, suggesting they are farther away. Keep in mind that with watercolor it's always better to stop a little bit early than to overdo it. You can always add more details later, but it's hard to take something away, almost impossible. Let's add a tiny fox here, or perhaps a little squirrel, whichever one comes to life as we paint. When working on something this small, it's best to trust your imagination, letting it fill in the details and bring the character to life. Let your creativity guide you. Paint something up to you here. Maybe you'd like to place a gift under the tree, add another animal, or even create a festive character. Here is the trick. By adding this little one, we are also defining the scale of the Christmas tree. If it is smaller, the tree will appear taller, and vice versa. Let's make our Christmas tree extra festive. I'm using gold fabric paint, typically used for textile, but I love incorporating it into my illustration for a decorative touch. Now I've protected the area around my illustration with paper tissues to add some snow. I'm using white gouache for this. As a final touch, let's write something in the snow. How about 2025? I want the numbers to feel like a continuation of the tree. So I'll mentally extend one side of the tree to write 2, then extend the other side to write 5, and place the rest of the digits in between. Outline the numbers with paint for a bold look. If using a brush feels tricky, don't worry, you can use any tool you prefer, like a colored pencil or marker, to make the process easier. Done! You can create this same illustration using a completely different color palette, giving it a new vibe. Feel free to choose your favorite colors, whatever speaks to you. Have fun adding your personal touch. Another idea is to paint this illustration on the inside of the card. Here is how you can do it to create a charming little greeting card. Once again, treat this process like a creative adventure and enjoy yourself. Have fun with it. Join me on Skillshare and get ready to immerse yourself in a snowy creative adventure.